Wheat prices pulling back from earlier highs as Russia issues a new threat to ships heading to Ukrainian ports, and it's sparking fears of a global food crisis. Yahoo Finance senior columnist Rick Newman joins us now. Rick.
Hey, Ali. So here we go again. Russia now says it is pulling out of this deal that it joined last year, which allows Ukraine to export grain through its ports on the Black Sea. It's a reminder that we should not stop. We should not look away from this war. This can blow up at any time in ways that affect global markets. So basically, what seems to be happening, Russia has actually said that any ships now headed to Ukraine's Black Sea ports, they will consider them to be carrying military equipment. In other words, they consider them to be targets, and they could blow them up. And now Ukraine has said, oh, well, we're going to consider any ships heading to Russian ports in the similar area also that they could be carrying military equipment, and maybe we'll target them. And Ukraine does have naval drones that can sneak up and blow up ships. So this is a direct threat to all that shipping of agricultural products. And what is kind of going on behind the scenes here, probably, Russia is actually the world's largest exporter of wheat. And prices have been down because supplies have been stable. So Russia is basically kind of pushing a competitor, Ukraine, out of the wheat market, and that is pushing up prices. So Russia's actually going to be able to charge higher prices for its wheat. So this is actually a kind of a form of economic warfare that is accompanying the military warfare inside Ukraine.
And that makes sense in terms of why Russia is doing it, why this would be advantageous there for them in terms of the prices. Rick, with the war escalating between Russia and Ukraine and the fact that the prices have been under pressure and Russia decided to do this, the odds of getting some sort of export deal in the near term, is that pretty much off the table?
Nobody knows. This gets back to trying to get inside the head of Russian President Vladimir Putin, and nobody quite knows what he's going to do next. Many things have not gone anything like people expected with regard to this war. It is worth pointing out that Russia made threats last fall to pull out of the grain deal, and then they ended up staying in it so that the exports continued to flow. So that could happen again. It's also, we've seen this with regard to all the markets that have been affected by this war. When there are short-term shocks, as there have been with energy, oil and natural gas, for instance, and also with agricultural exports at the beginning of the war, prices go up, which they have done in the last week. Wheat prices are up about more than 10% in the last few days, even though they've moderated a little bit. But world markets stabilize because supplies come from elsewhere. There's a lot of agricultural products elsewhere in the system, but it's not configured to go to Africa and the Middle East, where a lot of the Russian and Ukrainian exports go. So probably if this sticks, the most pain is going to be felt in Africa, where Ukraine is saying bread prices are going to skyrocket just because they're going to get less grain. So, unfortunate victims of this war, hundreds and thousands of miles away.
Yeah, a lot of ripple effects there. I know you'll continue to track that for us. Rick Newman, thanks so much.